I think I'm gonna look at it from an Arsenal point of view. Arsenal point of view is okay. Spurs won a trophy, but they finished 17th. We finished second. If we'd been in the Europa League, we probably would have won that trophy as well. We were in the Champions League, and according to our
Arsenal didn't want to be in it. In fairness,
but they didn't win anything.
No, I get that.
I still think that no one at Arsenal is going to panic. I still think it's Mikel Arteta's done a really, really good job there.
Okay.
I don't understand why we live in a society where finishing second to Manchester City or finishing second to Liverpool.
Second is nowhere. Elite sport, second is nowhere. Do they have to buy a striker?
Where have we heard this one before?
Because if they'd bought a striker, maybe they would have won something.
It's impossible to say, because it wasn't for the want of trying. They were in the market for one, but they didn't find a deal that was right for them, either as a player or financially. And who's to say, had they not panicked but jumped in January, and they had a long-term first-choice target who they weren't going to sign, would that have meant that their first-choice long-term target would have become impossible come the summer? We do know that they will sign a striker in this transfer window. Mikel Arteta has said that they need more firepower and they need more goals. In Arsenal's defence, and I know we've talked about injuries and it happens to every club, their entire front line at some point in that last season was injured. So there's one thing saying let's bring in a striker, because it's hard to legislate for the entire front line being injured. Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, all long-term injuries that they suffered. Now, two of the players that they have been looking at, Benjamin Šeško from RB Leipzig, who they did try to buy in January. The deal wasn't right for them then. They're still interested in him. Viktor Gyökeres from Sporting, former Coventry City striker, of course, had a fantastic season last season, had a fantastic season the season before at Sporting as well. He's another player that internally Arsenal are discussing, but they're just two of maybe a number. There might be a couple of other players that Carve alluded to yesterday that, you know, is it just maybe a ruse? Let's just carry on talking about them while we sort out another deal.
Okay.
So they are definitely in the market for a striker. I expect them to get one.
We know Zubimendi's coming. Does that mean Partey is going?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think Mikel Arteta has made it clear publicly that he would like Thomas Partey to stay. I know there have been some reports this morning linking him with a move to Barcelona, but I don't think just because Zubimendi's coming in, you have to move out Thomas Partey, because one of the reasons Zubimendi's coming in is because Jorginho's leaving.
Let's talk Arsenal now and the search for a striker. Will Arsenal fans get their wish to bring in a striker? So, Carve, will Arsenal fans get their wish to bring in a striker?
I think they will get their wish, but I think we just need to relax. Let's not get carried away. The transfer window only opened today. As far as I can tell, Arsenal don't have a game coming up soon. They're probably not going to have a competitive game until the Premier League starts in, what, is it 2 months' time or something? 6, 7, 8 weeks' time. So there's still a lot of time to go, and the transfer window's open for another, 90 days. They will sign a striker. Now, they're being very clever because they don't want people like you, me and Mark to be reporting about the fact that they've got a number one target. They want people to still be guessing, and clubs who are trying to sell strikers to not be quite sure of what Arsenal want to do. They want selling clubs to think that Arsenal have got lots of options because it will suit them when it comes to doing a deal. They'll be able to do a better deal. Having said that, we know who their main targets are. Viktor Gyökeres at Sporting, Benjamin Šeško at Leipzig, another striker who is reportedly their number one target. I don't want to name him because I don't want to get in trouble with the supporters of his club. But they will definitely sign a striker, and I just think we just need to calm down, wait, trust Mikel Arteta, trust Andrea Berta, and trust Arsenal.
What clubs will do in this period of time, and they've been doing it for weeks and months already, is they'll be building profiles of the players they like. They will have negotiations with the agents of those respective players. How much is it going to cost? How much does he want? How long's the deal? What's the agency fee? What are the other add-ons that are needed? And then they will have everything on the table and go, right, what's the order? And often you might find that the manager will say, actually, that player is the one that suits me. And the sporting director might say, well, actually, that one suits the club because that works for us. And they have to get on the same page. Now, you know, two of the players that Carve mentioned there, Benjamin Šeško, he's been in the Red Bull group for a number of years there. He had a solid season last season and is obviously gone from Salzburg to Leipzig. That's what Red Bull like to do. They like to develop players within their model, within their system, and then eventually sell them on for a huge profit. He's someone that had 18 goals and assists in the league, someone that's only 22 years old, and I think that could play a key role in Arsenal's decision. He's a young player with so many more levels to the game. And when you look at these stats here, most goals scored by players 21 or under in Europe's top 5 leagues last season, Benjamin Šeško was at the top of that list for Leipzig with 13 goals. So there, you've got a player that's hugely talented. He was spoken about not many windows ago being linked to Real Madrid, someone that is looked upon as someone that potentially could be a top player in Europe. And you look at the age, 22 years old, that would tick the boxes for what Arsenal have done in terms of the profile of player they've been looking at over the last few years. Viktor Gyökeres, again, slightly different because he's 27 in a few days' time. So the sell-on value might be a lot less and it might be financially a bigger package. But he is a goal machine. 46 goals and assists in the league last season in Portugal is just astonishing. You can see the goals scored 39, which is obviously the best in the division. Direct goal involvements, 46. He's also scored...
in the top 10 European leagues, actually, not just the Portuguese league.
Yeah. And
he won the double.
Yeah, fantastic season. I've got a soft spot as well for him. I was trying to convince clubs to sign him when he was at Coventry. I watched him as a youngster at Brighton go out on loan. I think he's top class. I really like him. I'd love to see him in the Premier League because I think he'll physically destroy defenders because that's the type of player he is. But that age, 27 in a few days, that might be where teams go, we spend a lot of money on him. Can we recoup any of that back? I don't know. But then, of course, you know, it's not just 2 on the list at Arsenal. There'll be other players there, but those are 2 prominent ones to keep an eye on.
Welcome back to Sport Lab, where we break down the latest transfer moves and behind-the-scenes strategies. Today, we're diving into Arsenal's hunt for a new striker because, let's be honest, Gunners fans, finishing second to City with no silverware stings. Is this the summer Mikel Arteta finally gets that missing piece up front? Why Arsenal need a striker? Yes, Arsenal finished second in the league, but when it came to crunch time, they lacked firepower. Injuries hit hard last season. Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, all had long injury spells. Arteta has openly said, Arsenal need more goals. But here's the key, they didn't panic in January. Instead of rushing a deal, they waited for the right long-term target and now they're ready to strike in the summer. Top targets. Let's break down the 2 big names Arsenal are chasing. Benjamin Šeško from RB Leipzig. Age, 22. Last season, 13 goals, most by a U21 in Europe's top 5 leagues. Profile, tall, mobile, huge upside. Background, Red Bull system Salzburg to Leipzig, groomed for top-level move. Status, Arsenal tried in January, still keen now. Viktor Gyökeres from Sporting. Age, turning 27. Last season, 39 goals, 46 goal involvements. Profile, physical, relentless, goal machine. Background, former Coventry striker, destroyed the Portuguese league, top scorer across Europe's top 10 leagues. Status, costs more, but instant impact. One's a rising star, one's a proven beast. Arsenal are balancing potential versus guaranteed output. Arsenal's approach this summer, keep clubs guessing about their number 1 target. Smart negotiation. Build full profiles, fees, wages, agency demands, sell-on clauses. Align Arteta's preferences with the club's long-term strategy. And don't forget, Martin Zubimendi is incoming to midfield, but that doesn't mean Thomas Partey is leaving despite some Barca rumours. Arsenal fans, it's early, the window's open, the Premier League doesn't kick off for weeks, and deals take time. But trust Arteta, trust Edu, and get ready. A striker is coming. Drop your comments. Would you go for Šeško or Gyökeres? Should Arsenal chase experience or potential? Hit subscribe, like this video, and stay tuned. We'll break every major deal, every twist, every shock move, right here on Sport Lab.